Hello, my friends. Today we're going to be talking about EQing. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about EQing and you don't exactly know how to do it, what it is. I will tell you in this video. Basically, EQing makes things that sound like dog shit not sound like dog shit. Or it makes things that already sound okay sound even better. We're not going to get too sciencey here. Let's go over here. Look, guys, tone. What's the difference between like tone and volume? Volume is like this, okay? I'm going to change the volume of my voice right now, and I'm not going to change the tone, okay? Like this. Right now I'm changing the volume of my voice, but I'm not changing the tone. I'm not really changing the tone, but I am changing the volume, but I'm not really changing the tone. You understand? You know what volume is. Okay, but tone. Tone is color. Tone is shape. Tone is, you might hear it referred to as like timbre. Okay, so like now I'm going to change the tone of my voice without changing the volume. Okay, check this out. Now I'm changing the tone of my voice without really changing the volume. I'm really not changing the volume, but I am changing the tone. See what I'm saying? Tone equals color. It also equals what some people might call timbre. Okay, now what is tone measured in? Don't worry, we're going to get out of this world in just a second, but you need to understand just this basic shit. Trust me, I could go on like a science expedition with this right now, and I'm not. Just listen to me real quick. Okay, tone, let's talk about it like this. Tallness. What is tallness really describing at the end of the day? It's describing height, right? And how do we measure height? In inches. Right? What about heaviness? What is heaviness really talking about? Well, what it's really describing is weight. And how do we measure that shit? Well, in like pounds. Okay? Now, let's do volume real quick. What is volume? Well, it's loudness. Loudness is really what it's describing is volume. And how do we measure that? In decibels, right? And lastly, tone. Okay, so you've got tone. What is tone really describing? Well, it's describing the balance of different frequencies. And how do we measure that? Using hertz. Okay, hertz. I think that's how you spell hertz, like the car rental. Okay, so check this out, guys. We're gonna just get into this. All right, this is like the difference, man. This is the difference maker. Okay, first of all, we can hear, I made this, isn't this lovely? I made this. We can hear from 0 over here. Well, we can't really hear 0, but basically like the frequency spectrum goes from like 0 to 20,000, 20K, standing for like 1,000, 20,000 hertz, or 20 kilohertz is what it's called, okay? Down here, from 0 to like 30, it's no man's land. This is because you're not getting rid of no man's land, you're not carving it out of a bunch of your instruments and things. It might be why your shit sounds shitty sometimes, right? Or why you might be on Spotify listening to some shit and it's way louder than yours that you're making. It's just like, how are they getting the shit so loud? And then in your project, it's like clipping and peaking and it sounds distorted and it's still not even as loud as the shit that's on Spotify that doesn't sound like it's distorted and peaking. How is this possible? What the fuck's going on here? Oftentimes the fact that this is adding up. This is a bunch of bullshit that's in all kinds of shit and it's just making stuff sound bad. So when we carve that out, which I'll show you, it makes things sound, well, it doesn't really make things sound any better, but what it does is it clears space so you can actually make other stuff sound good, right? Anyway, okay. I don't want you guys to think about, if you're just starting with EQing and stuff, I don't want you to think about this shit in terms of numbers, right? So I've put general numbers here, okay? 40, 100, 200, 350. I put general things that I think are important, little like checkpoint numbers on the frequency spectrum. But what we really should be doing is thinking about these things in terms of adjectives, right? So like, what is 40? Well, 40 is actually like sub and boom and rumble, and it's that in the stomach that you get like at a club or in a car. That real like kind of shit. What's 100? 100 is like thud. It's like, right? It's in the chest. So it's not quite in your stomach, but it's like in your chest, right? What's punch? Punch is the difference between a snare that goes like psh, psh, and like pff, pff, right? Like psh, pff. Punch is like a different thing. It's not exactly in the chest. It's a little higher. It's like this other thing. I don't really know how to describe it, but that's what around 200 brings you. And as you keep going, there's other stuff that happens here. So you could really think about this as like almost like the rainbow, right? Like imagine this is colors. Imagine what this really says is like black, dark purple, dark blue, green, orange, right? Like it's so when we like, your song is a picture. Your song is a fucking picture that you are putting filters on, like Instagram filters, where all of a sudden you can like add more red. That's what we're doing. We're taking a snare drum or we're taking a vocal and we're adding more of something or subtracting something the way you would with an Instagram filter. That's what an EQ is. So if we add a little bit of 100 to a kick, it's going to thud more. If we add a little bit of 1K to a vocal, it's going to have a little bit more presence. It'll cut through the mix just a little bit more, right? Let's practicalize this here. I'm going to go to Ableton. Okay, my friends. Let's start with laptop lows. Actually, no. Let's start there. Okay, so we've got laptop lows. What is laptop lows? Laptop lows, guys, that's that 100 to like 250, 300 kind of area. So what do I mean when I say laptop lows? I mean, like, you know how like when you're listening on a phone or a laptop to a song that has a heavy 808, it doesn't sound nearly as good as it does in the car? That's because the frequency range of these computers and of our phones and stuff, it's not like the frequency range in the car or the club or on speakers. You can't even really hear that really low shit. Laptop lows is like the lowest that a laptop can hear. So you can almost kind of cheat with like bass. You can like add some laptop lows. And what it'll do is it'll make the listener who's listening on a phone or a laptop feel like they are hearing bass. Now they're not actually going to feel the bass. You're not going to get that on a laptop or on a phone. You're never going to feel the bass. You know what I mean? But you can at least hear it. And how we do that is by adding some laptop lows. Check this out here. I've got a sub. I'm not even sure if you guys can hear that. That's low, man. If we were on speakers, if you're on speakers right now, that shit is probably rumbling, right? Because it exists really heavily down here at like 40, right? So it's probably rumbling. But we probably wouldn't be able to, let's say you put that in your song, you probably wouldn't be able to hear it on a phone. How can we? Well, we can add some laptop lows. Let's find them, okay? So here's our EQ. When it comes to the EQ, I want you to mainly be concerned. First of all, you can kind of get rid of this area right here. You can kind of forget about this area in your mind. Imagine it's not there for now. Down here, it's super important, but let's also not really talk too much about that. What I really want you to be concerned about is these nodes, these things that you can move, okay? And then also just these three knobs right here: frequency, gain, and Q, which stands for bandwidth. Maybe another day. I kind of just want to help you guys fucking make shit sound better without getting too sciencey. So check this out. Oh, you hear that? And look, it's actually showing us. If you look here, across the bottom, from left to right, that's our frequency spectrum. Okay, now it only is showing you 100, 1K, and 10K. But all the lines, the vertical lines in between, those represent the other numbers. So like here's 100. The next vertical line over is 90, then 80, then 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, right? Same here, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. That's all it is. So where is this sub currently hitting? Boom. Let's see. Right there. We could see it, right? What is that? That is 40, I believe, right? Which makes sense because look what's at 40. Sub, right? Okay. But we want to hear this, so let's find where we can hear it. And what we're going to do is we're going to sweep. This is called frequency sweeping. You go like this until it does the thing you want it to do. So check it out. Check it out. Oh, fuck. Wait, until we can hear it on a phone or a laptop. Wait. Ooh. Probably around there you could hear it, right? So whenever I do this today, when I turn this right here, that's me turning it on and off. So if I turn it off, no effect. It's going to be like what it was normally. If I turn it on, it'll be what we did to it. Okay, so check this out. Here's off. And on. Oh. Ooh, we might hear that shit on a phone. You see what I'm saying? Okay. That's kind of your laptop lows area, right? I think we probably just added like 100 something, right? That's your laptop lows. Let's go to this right here. What do we have? Okay, we got a little kick. All right, so let's see. If I were to grab this right here and move it up, right now we're adding some thud. Okay, nothing. Thud. Right? If we move over, now we're at 200, which you can tell because as I move this around, this is going to move and you're going to be able to actually see what number you're working with. Check this out. Oh, shit. Oh, look at that frequency knob. Okay, so I'm going to go to 200. Okay, so that's a little bit of punch. Here's nothing. Add a little punch. Right? Now, not all sounds have the ability for you to add punch to them. Some sounds have so little punch that you could go like this and it's not going to do shit because it just doesn't have anything in it. It's just like that Instagram filter thing I was talking about. If you go to a filter and you go, make the reds in my picture, all the things that are red, make them really red. If your picture doesn't have any red in it whatsoever, you could crank that red knob up like crazy. It's not going to be able to do anything, right? So it needs some red to work with in order for me to use like a red filter to turn the reds up, right? Maybe that doesn't make sense to anyone. It makes sense to me. Okay, so that is kind of your punch. Nothing. Nothing. Thud, right? If we go down here, which probably doesn't make a lot of sense to do in this video, unless you guys have speakers. Right here, I'm adding some sub. Okay, that's your sub world. We're gonna move over to thud. Okay, thud world and punch world. Okay, you see? All right, let's do a really good example of punch. I think, check this out, guys. We got a little fucking dubstep snare here. Okay, I want you to really understand how much 200 equals punch. It's so equals punch that like it's almost exactly 200. Like a lot of these things on here, they're ranges. It's like somewhere in a range of, not with punch. Punch is like, there's a range, but it's like 180 to 220. Like it is right there. Check this out. I'm gonna add some punch to this, okay? I'm at 200 right here. Oh shit! Oh! I'm gonna turn it off. Listen to it, nothing. Listen to it, nothing. With the punch. Ooh! Oh, you see what I'm saying? We went from like psh, psh, to like poof, poof. You know what I mean? Oh! Oh. Now, does this sound need any of the no man's land over here? 0 to like 30? Does it really need that? Probably not, right? Does it really even need 40? Does it need like sub? No, this thing doesn't have sub in it. So watch what I'm gonna do. And this is where this part comes into play. If I click right here on this menu, I can choose the different curves for my EQ. Something to learn about on another day. But I'm going to choose this top one or the second to top one. This is how we get rid of the garbage, especially this top one. Check this out. I want you to tell me, well, not tell me, but fucking, you know, I can't hear you, but okay, look, I'm going to move this over. You're probably not even going to hear a difference, and yet we're going to be clearing the way for shit. Look at this. Watch as I move it. Okay, I just moved it a fucking lot. I'm going to turn the EQ on and off. Let's see if you could hear any difference. Off, on. You don't even hear a difference. That's what I'm saying. You can get rid of all this garbage in your songs and it'll stop sounding all fucking, everything's on top of each other, and it's like, why doesn't my shit sound good? Big reason right here. This is a big one. Okay, so I'm going to go until I hear it. This is how we play this game. Go until you hear a difference. Okay, I'm hearing a little something. So I'm going to pull back just a little bit. Turn it off. Make sure I'm not getting rid of too much. We're good, man. Now we've cleared the way, and I can add some punch. Ugh. Now I'm adding all of this shit. Anything under this blue line is getting affected, okay? This is your volume. How much volume or gain you are adding to that particular thing. So when I move this like this, I'm adding volume to only the punch. Okay, I'm not adding volume to the whole sound. I'm just going, where's the punch? Where's the punch? It's right around here. So I'm going to add some volume to it. You see what I'm saying? Whoo! Come on, man. Oh, exactly. Okay, let's move on. I want to talk to you guys real quick about body. Okay, body kind of goes with like this thick sound or like a full sound. Sometimes it can feel warm. It can feel like you're being hugged a little bit by the sound. It can also be, and I put in asterisks here, okay, mud. This is where some real mud can exist, okay? Let's add a little bit of that fucking body to this thing right here. Let's listen to this real quick. Yeah, yo. We better add some mud. Remove some mud. Yeah, let's remove some. Let's remove some. Okay, so if we want to remove some mud, first let's use the frequency situation, the sweeping. Let's sweep to find the mud. Basically, when you sweep, you're going, okay, there's something that I either want more of or that I don't want because it's annoying. I need to find it. That's what sweeping is. So I'm going to sweep till I find that fucking shit. Once it sounds like, oh my God, that's really the thing that I was hearing that I need more of or that I need none of, that's when we make our move. So let's say that I wanted to get rid of some mud in this sound. First of all, it's not very muddy. So this maybe isn't a great example to do it with, but check this out. We're going to go until we find that adjective that we decided, right? So that's the thing about EQing. You're not just blindly going, oh, I don't know. That's not what you do. You go, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to get rid of some mud. Now that you have that, now you can frequency sweep because now you're just going until whatever words you gave it, in this case mud, until you hear that heavy. Check this out. I'm going to go until I hear some real mud. Probably somewhere in there. Because here's nothing. Probably that's kind of some mud. So if I wanted to, now that I found it, I can get rid of it like this. Oh shit. And remember, this is a lot. We're getting rid of, all we really need to get rid of is just that little area. So that's where you use this knob right here, the Q, the bandwidth. And watch what happens. Oh, now we're only getting rid of that little muddy area, okay? Instead of getting rid of all this, which we may not want to do. Now, in this case, I think this song could use a little bit of not mud, but something that lives in the same category, which is like body, thickness. Okay? 350-ish, 350-ish. Let's warm this up. Let's add a little body to this. So I'm going to go until I hear that body. It's probably going to be in like the same place. And I'm going to widen it out real quick like this with my, just so while I'm listening. Okay. We've gone too far. Now it sounds like we're playing it on a radio or something. Right? Which makes sense because that area we're at, what word is there? Boxy. Boxy. Sounds a little bit like it's coming from like a radio box. You know what I mean? And that's exactly where we are. Let's move over. Let's find that warmth. Let's find that thickness. Oh, yeah, boy. Right in there. Because check this out. I'm going to turn the EQ off. On. Oh, yeah. Adding that thickness, boy. You know what I mean? Imagine your song is like this, when it could be like this. Ooh. Give me some of that fucking fullness. You know what I mean? Okay. Now, what else can we mess around with here? Let's see what else can happen here. Ooh, it's starting to really cut through the mix right there. You hear that? Because here's none. I'm going to raise it. It's starting to really cut, which makes sense because look at what happens at 1K. We got cut and presence, baby. That's the shit right there. That's how vocals exist real heavy in this world right here because they need to be present and they need to cut through a mix, right? Okay, now as we continue moving, right in there, there's a little bit of bite, a little bit of grit, getting a little gritty on them. You know what I mean? 2 to 4K, that's what we can expect. Okay, I don't need you guys to memorize all this today. You don't need to memorize this or anything, but maybe like I'll just check in the description. Maybe I'll upload this so that you can like just kind of fucking, I don't know, put it like next to your computer or something until you memorize this shit. Because honestly, it's really helpful to know like, ah man, if only these vocals were like just kind of like could bite a little more, could have a little bit more fucking presence, could be a little, and then all you got to do is like look at this and be like, well, where's bite? Oh, it's right there. Great, 2 to 4K. Oh, let me go to Ableton and fucking... Exactly. You know what I mean? It could be really helpful. Now, let's say I wanted to add some real brightness to this, right? Where's brightness? Anywhere from, like, this whole region, honestly. Okay? That's why I got this fucking nifty arrow. To just show you that kind of from the beginning of the B to the end here, you've got brightness. Now, the true brightness, the air, the sparkle, the shimmer, the glisten, the fucking, that shit, that's up here, 10 to 20K. All right? And you don't need to be very specific with that shit. As you get higher on the frequency spectrum, you'll notice it matters less. Like, what I mean is, down here at the bottom, like, 40 is 40, right? Like, now, it could be like 40, 50, 60, but it's fucking within that tiny little range. As we move up, it starts to be less and less important. The difference between numbers isn't as, for our ears, it's not as obvious. So from 10 to 20 is really just this big range you can play with to add that brightness, that clarity, okay? Check this out. I'm going to add some of that shit right here. Watch this. Oh! Wow. You hear that fucking... You hear this? What are you hearing there? You hear that fucking hiss right there, boy? Check this out. Woo! I'm gonna turn that EQ off. Listen. Back on. Okay, right? Now it's a ton, but I'm trying to show you. That's why I'm going so heavy. Okay, so let's add a little bit of brightness to this like this. Okay, and then let's add a little body to it. And then let's get rid of the garbage. Remember down here, if you click this one, let's get rid of some garbage. And how do we do that? Again, by moving until we hear a difference and then doubling back a little bit. Because we don't actually want to hear a difference. We just want to clear the way of garbage. So hold on. Okay. Okay, and now I'm going to turn the EQ off after all those moves. Back on. Oh! Now can you imagine if you do this thoughtfully to many different things in your mix? Imagine what that mix begins to sound like. It's really not that hard. Okay. Let's move on. What's this here? I'm not even sure like why that's there. Oh, maybe so I could show you this. Guys, you want to talk about specific ass frequencies? Somewhere between 700 to 1000 is knock. And I don't mean knock in the way that if you were in the studio and a rapper basically said like, I want that 808 to knock more. They don't mean this. They mean this shit. They mean they want that 808 to fucking knock more, boy. Shake the room, right? That's what, but in an EQ, in an engineer sense, knock, we're talking about literally like knocking, right? How do we get knock? It's right there in between, right before 1K. You see 1K? Right before there, you're going to add some knock. And it's crazy how specific this is. Oh! Listen to that. Now I'm going to turn it off. Back on. You know what I mean? So knock. That's why I put this one here, just to show you that very specific knock, somewhere in between 700 and 1000, which, look, frequency, 742. I'm telling you, man, every time. Okay. I want to quickly get this right here. And I think this is a good example. I was looking for a little instrument that I could just fuck with that we could really show kind of start wrapping this up and show you a lot of different changes within one instrument. So check this out here. It's the best thing I've ever produced. That's so fucking stupid. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. First, I'm gonna try to, let's say we hear this, and we go, man, I need that to bite. I need that to bite more. That's when you use the trusty chart. I'm going, where's bite? Where's bite? Where's bite? Where's bite? Hey! There we are. Bite. Okay, 2 to 4K. And then I'm going to go back. I'm going to go, where's 2K? Well, we know that these numbers go up by the next logical one. So this is 1K. This line must be 2K. Okay, so anywhere from 2, 3, 4, it's going to be somewhere in here that we're going to access some bite. So let's make this thing bite a little more. Now that we have an adjective that we're chasing, and we're not just going, I should EQ, right? Everyone EQs, maybe that. Instead of that, no. We're going to get an adjective that we're shooting for. I want this to bite more. Great. Now I'm going to go till I hear that fucking bite, okay? Right in there, boy. Bite is when the sound almost kind of goes like from this to like, it starts to fucking like, check this out. Watch this. You don't need to look at this at the like, look at me right now. What? Because I'm trying to show you this. Look at this. Ready? See what I'm saying? I look like a crazy person, I'm sure, but you get what I'm saying. So we add some bite right there. Great. Now, it sounds a little muddy maybe. Let's find that mud, and then let's get rid of it. Somewhere in there. So now that I found it, I'm going to just... and I don't want to get rid of too much, so what am I going to do? I'm going to change the width of this, because I'm getting rid of all this shit. I don't need that. I just need to, look, with my width, I just need a little something. Oh! Yeah. Now, I also want this thing to have a little bit of clarity, a little bit of air to it, a little bit of fucking sparkle. So I'm going to look at my list. There we are. air, clear, sparkle, hiss, 10 to 20K. Let's go to that area and just fucking raise the roof on that bitch. Whee! Come on. Now, you might go, ooh, and this should have some sub in it, and you'll try it. Do you see how I just raised the entire roof on that sub and nothing's changing? That's because there's not enough sub in this to even change anything. So, in fact, what I really should do is get rid of it and clear the way for it with an actual sub to do the work, right? A lot of people be going, damn, how do I get this to be a bass? How do I get... You're never gonna. It's not a bass. You can't change it into a bass, so let's actually do the opposite. Turn it completely not into a bass. And remember, I can get rid of all the garbage like this. I don't need any of this. That's usually a safe area, right around 100. Okay? And this clears the way. Look at this. For me to do something like this. I'm gonna make this a bass real quick. And I'm gonna layer it. Check this out, guys. Okay, what's it? I need to make this lower octave. I'm gonna go in here, select all, Command A, bring it down the octave, Shift down. Let's listen. Still not low enough. Shift down again. Maybe Shift down one more time. Let's listen to that. That's probably the octave, man. Now, I'm not sure how much of this you guys can actually hear on your speakers, but I'm gonna play these two together. Okay? I'll actually use an octave that's gonna be more obvious, because at least in my headphones I could barely... Let's go to with that one. See how much better to use that as a bass. And then if I want... Oh, well, we still got the weird EQ from the other instrument on this one. So let me get rid of that. Okay. And then let's raise the floor on here, which you're going to use this curve. Third from the top. Check this out. Oh! Wow. Too much. Volume. And if I turn that track off and just listen to what we had... Nothing. Back on. You know what I'm saying? Let's let things that are the actual thing do the job. You know? That's a sub. Probably it should be the octave lower if I had the speakers going. I can't really tell in my headphones, but regardless, you see the point here. Like, let's utilize things for what they're supposed to be. And in fact, why don't we, on this sub, the bottom one here, why don't we get rid of any of the garbage up top that we don't need? This is supposed to just be a sub. There we are, man. Right? A lot of people, guys, really, like, understand this. A lot of people, I'm going to turn the EQ off, have this. And they're like, and they keep making decisions like that for a whole song. That's why songs end up sounding not as good as they could, right? If I just EQ that instrument, turn it into, and add a sub, completely different experience, right? Okay, let's see. Is OBS even still running? Very nice. Okay, guys. Last shit. And this is just how we're going to wrap up. I made a little song to show you EQing vocals real quick. Just some standard practices for EQing vocals, all right? First, let's listen to my masterpiece.
This is my song about EQ. You know what to do. Slide those buttons all around the screen and just be smart with the frequency you choose. Please don't be confused. And please don't concern yourself with which plugin you use. It don't really matter if you're using stock plugins, cause buttons are just buttons, they mean nothing. This is my song about EQ. You know what to
Great. Okay. It's a masterpiece. Okay. Here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to take this garbage fucking vocal. Okay?
This is my song about EQ.
You hear that? You probably recognize that sound. That sound is the sound of when you record into a mic and you don't, like, put any sort of effects on it. While mics all have different colors to them, when they come in just dry, they really don't sound very good. They got that dog shit vibe. Ugh.
This is my song about EQ.
What a classic sound that has.
This is my song about EQ.
That garbage fucking vocal sound. First things first on a vocal, guys. Get rid of the garbage, please. The absolute garbage. I'm going to go to number 1 right here. I'm going to go to the top shit. I might roll it off a little softer, right? This is the heavy roll off when you choose that top one. When you choose this one, it's a little more forgiving. And we are working with a delicate thing, a vocal. So let's just...
This is my song. This is my song about. This is my song about. This.
Can't really hear a difference, but that's the point, honestly. We don't need to hear a difference. Now, let's find that awful mud. That garbage fucking garage basement mud.
This.
It's in there somewhere. That's gross. Let's get rid of some of that.
This is my song about you. This is my song about EQ.
Okay.
This is my song about EQ. This is my song about. This is my song.
Very nice. Now let's add maybe a little bit of bite. Okay, where's bite? Bite. There we are. 2 to 4K. All right, let's add a little bit of that bite, boy.
This.
Just a little something, right? I'm gonna go like that. Just a little something.
This.
And then let's add some of that brightness.
This is my song about EQ. This is my song about EQ.
Okay, hold on. Oh.
This is my song about EQ. You know what to do. Slide those buttons all around the screen and just be smart with the frequency you choose. Please don't be confused. And please don't concern yourself with which plugin you use. It don't really matter if you're using stock plugins.
Now look, guys, does it sound amazing? No. We would have to add a bunch more shit on there. Maybe some, compression, some reverb, right? As we do that, it's going to really start to sound pretty nice. Because listen to what it sounds like, guys, without the EQ we just did.
This is my song about EQ. You know what to do. Slide those buttons all around.
Let's turn it back on.
Just be smart with the frequency you choose.
Oh!
Please don't be confused.
Yeah.
And please don't concern yourself with which plugin you use. It don't really matter if you're using stock plugins, because buttons are just buttons. They mean nothing. This is my song about EQ. You know what to do. Move these fucking knobs until this shit starts sounding cool.
Right? Listen, one more time with it off.
This is my song about EQ.
On.
This is my song about EQ.
I mean, come on. So, that's one plugin, right? Like, that's one plugin, EQ. That's it. People be putting fucking 35 plugins on their vocals, trying to go figure some shit out, go crazy. It's just about knowing what you're doing with each plugin. And then, like, look, I just did this on one, right?
This is my song about EQ.
Crazy, dude. Crazy. Okay. Well, we didn't really talk about, like, sharp, pointy, harsh very much. But whatever. The idea is somewhere between 5 to 9K, there's usually some kind of, like, if you're ever hearing, like, a disgusting sound in a guitar, like the sound of feedback, or maybe somebody's voice hurts when you're listening. It's like, it's like sharp. It's like, God, that's too much for my ears. It's usually somewhere in there, and you're just going to notch it out. You're just going to get rid of some of it, okay? The other thing we didn't talk about that I just want to briefly mention is this Vowel-y concept. Just because it's so specific, there's a particular Vowel-y area right around the same area that knock is, about 700 to 1K. Let me see if there's anything in here. Probably this thing that we were dealing with. I'm going to put an EQ on that, which I didn't even tell you this, but my God. Audio effects, Under the category EQ and filters, you've got EQ8. That's the one you're going to use. I'm going to drag that onto the track. I just want to show you that vowel-y thing, that thing where it starts to talk a little bit. Check this out. Right? Just an interesting note. Growls in like electronic music, growls exist really heavily in here. And when you move it around, you get a little vowel vibe. You know what I mean? Okay. Well, that's it, my friends. I just wanted to kind of like demystify EQing a little bit. Try not to talk too sciencey about it. And yeah, let's get the fuck out of here.